Hello my dudes, and welcome back to my little corner of the internet. If you're new here, I'm Evan, and I knit things and do other stuff. Mostly crafting and reading is basically my entire life. And if you're new, welcome, hi. I'm glad you're here. And if you're a regular, welcome back. Today, for me, is Friday, January 9th, and this is the first episode of my 2026 podcast series, despite having filmed it last week and then technical difficulties. So this is the first episode, even though it should be the second. So, today I have for you, I'm just going to warn you now, I'm going to be confused about the things that I talked about last week, but then you guys never got to see, so just bear with me, okay? I have a finished object. I've got 4 whips on my needles right now, soon to be 5. We can do some book chat. We can talk about what I decided for my Make 9 this year. I think the short already went out, but we can chat a little bit more about it. And then I have technically 4 acquisitions, but one of them has already started in a project, so that'll be kind of separate. And yeah, let's get right into it. Finished object. I actually finished this before the end of the year. It was finished last week. I finished it on Christmas. This is the Morning in Siena sweater by Minimi Knit Designs. It's knit up in Treehouse Knits, the Surrey Ash Lace, and the natural sock in the colorway Williams Hardware held together. It's one of those hold a fingering and a fluff together and knit it on really big needles, size 10s, for a nice open gauge. Like, you see how open that is. So it knit up super duper fast. I believe I already did a short about like all the details of this as well, but this is only on the needles for like a week. It was the last thing on my Make 9. I really wanted to get it done. I got it done. Here's a little clip of what it looks like from More Than Here Up. There are a couple things that I do want to change about it. I did add some elastic in the neckline this morning because the neckline like really hangs, but I haven't like fully adjusted the elastic enough, so now it's kind of getting a little wonky in here. So I'm not sure what to do with the elastic there. I may just need to run a second line like further up here because I did it down here to even things out. And then I need to reinforce the buttonholes a bit because like they're just a yarn over, but that's a big yarn over for this little button, and you literally can't fit a bigger button on this placket. So like I put the button in the hole. I will show you. And then it just falls out. So I need to reinforce the buttonholes, but that's like so tedious. Like I need to just sew them down a little bit so they're a little smaller. It's actually, you would think this wouldn't be that warm because it's at such an open gauge, but this natural sock from Lauren is so warm. Like I can't wear this all day. I get too hot, like even with it open. So I'm excited to wear this on a really cold day. It's actually like 60 degrees out today, which is insane. Although there's always like a week in January where it's real warm. It's usually right around Brett's birthday, and his birthday was on the 6th. So it's pretty standard. Like even growing up in Pittsburgh, it was that way. I remember quite a few times in high school on his birthday wearing a t-shirt. Yes, we've been together since high school. A very, very long time. We've been married for 16 years, and we've been together for over 20. If you're confused about how old that makes me, I'm 38. Everyone always thinks I'm younger than that. I'm not. I'm 38. I'll be 39 in May. Anyway, knitting. My brain, I don't, bear with me, people. Okay. Actually, before we talk about whips, let's go through my 2026 Make 9, because one of them is now a whip. So let's just go through it. Okay. I'll put the pictures up on the screen. I don't know which side they'll be on. It depends on what it looks like in editing. Whichever side looks like it has more room. So it may change every week. I don't know if that bothers people. Sorry if it does. The first thing is the Teddy Half Zip by Kristen Zimmel. This is a project that I knit as a test knit for her. I don't remember when. I think the year before last. And while I loved the pattern, the size I decided to knit was just entirely too large. It ended up having like 14 inches of positive ease, and that was entirely more than I wanted. So when I put this on my Make 9 this year, I knew that I wanted to re-knit it. I had previously unraveled back to just the yoke. When I went to redo it last week or the week before, went to put it back on my needles for my Make 9, I ripped back to just the collar. I didn't want to reknit the collar. I had to do a little fudging in the short rows to make the numbers work for the size I'm knitting. I'm knitting the size 2, but we can talk more about that when we get to it. Teddy Half Zip by Kristen Zimmel. I'm sorry, my brain today. ADHD, man. The second thing is the Double Date Sweater by Winter's Weather Knits. I had previously knit a sample of this for Terrapin Fiberworks and loved it so much that I wanted to make a version for myself, so I used my payment from that sweater to buy yarn to make it again for me. So I'm using Terrapin Fiberworks Chesapeake DK, and the main color is black, and then I have a bright yellow, a bright green, and a bright purpley pink for the contrast colors. The third thing is Pluses by Jen Parroccini. I've been wanting to knit this since it came out. My friend Amanda test knit it, and I immediately became obsessed with it, and I just have not had the gumption to knit an all-over colorwork sweater. But I did knit an all-over colorwork sweater last year, so I feel better about it now. So it's also bottom up. But the Double Date Sweater is also bottom up, and I didn't hate doing that. So I feel like I have done enough of the things that I don't like to do or don't want to do to make this sweater, but I really want this sweater. And I'm using woolen vinyl. The background color is black, and then the contrast color is like a slimy neon chartreuse. It's epic. Fourth thing, the Willow Pullover by Andrea Gaughan. I was gifted this pattern last year. I love Andrea Gaughan, so I got yarn. I believe it's Lion Brand Merino DK in a light purple color. Then the Through the Trees socks by my friend Annabeth is Knitworthy. I have been obsessed with these socks since this pattern came out, and for some reason I just haven't knit them. I even specifically bought a sock set from Claws Out Yarn Co. to knit these socks, and I just haven't done it yet. So this is the time it gets done, because they're incredible. I mean, I love all of her cryptid socks, but particularly these. Next is the Best Dressed Vest by Ashley R. Adams. I am currently in a slipover obsession, and I don't actually have any slipovers. I do have one Palm Springs tank that I made intending it to be a tank top, but then the yarn ended up being itchy, so I didn't want to wear it next to skin, but it's a great slipover. But I want a looser one. Like, this one's like skin tight, and that's fine for some things, but I want a loose slipover. And when I saw Elizabeth is knit this Best Dressed Vest, I think she tested it last year. Obsessed. I'm going to be using a copper colored yarn from Sinful Yarns. And then Bonbec by Emilie Louise. There's this person I started following on Instagram about a month ago. Oh, what is their name? I'm obsessed with them. And she regularly wears this hood from the Gap. And like just wears it as an accessory, like not even on her head all the time, and I am completely obsessed with it. So I need a somewhat thin hood to wear even if it's not on my head and it's just on my neck. Okay, sorry, I just got a phone call from the orthodontist about my son. Apparently it's orthodontist time for my 12-year-old. I'm not thrilled about that, but you know, whatever. So I don't remember what I was talking about. So we're just gonna move on to the next thing. The next thing on my Make 9 is the If You Knit, You Know hat by Purl Soho. I have a single skein of like this bright blue, like cobalt DK that I'm gonna use for that. I don't remember where it's from. And then finally, the Boston Blizzards hood by Elise Kim. When she released this, I didn't even follow her. It was just like this happened to pop up on my feed and immediate obsessed. I actually really hate the picture of the sample because that's not what hers looks like. I don't like this two-tone thing. I think it's ugly. But her sample that she was wearing when I saw it come out was awesome. But I am going to use this random unlabeled DK that I got in a D-stash forever and 3,000 years ago. It's like a white base, but then it has these dark purple and like neon yellow-green speckles, like really heavily, and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. So that's the Make 9. Let's talk whips. The first one is the Teddy Half Zip by Kristen Zimmel. I actually started working on this again on the day after Christmas. I decided that was allowed because I make the rules of my own crafting. But I don't remember what the yarns are for this. Actually, I can look in the pattern and tell you because I used the recommended yarn. Because Kristen is vegan, so the yarn is vegan, and I am not well versed in, number one, like, what do you call that, like novelty yarn almost. And I am not well versed in vegan yarns, particularly that aren't cotton, and she wanted very specific things for this for specific reasons. Yarn. The crazy one is Hobie Curly, which is a polyester acrylic nylon blend. And then the dark blue, that one, is Hobie Amigo. Now, I don't remember what the colorway names are. If you're really curious, I'm pretty sure all the details are in my original Ravelry project page from this, so I'll link both in the description below. my current one for what I'm doing with this one, and then the original. But I've gotten quite a lot done. This is the only thing I was working on for quite a while. So I had ripped back to just the collar, so just to right here. So I did the collar, split for sleeves, did quite a lot of the body, and then I wanted to go back and start the sleeves just to make sure I had enough yarn, because that was another issue when I knit this originally. I did run out of yarn. So, I mean, I am knitting 3 sizes smaller now, but like I'm sure it will be fine, but I just wanted to make sure. So there's the first sleeve. We've knit a whole bunch of the body. Like, the pattern calls for like 4 inches of ribbing, but I don't want that much ribbing. Is that an end on the outside? No, okay. So I'll do the sleeves and then I'll come back. And then I may actually do the zip just to see how that may affect, like, if this gets pulled up at all before I do the bottom. The zip is actually really cool. Like, you leave these stitches on hold on both sides, and then you pick up there and you knit like a placket for the inside, and then you sew the zipper in between it. It's very cool. So that's where that is. Okay, next I have 2 more projects you've seen, and then a new cast on that you guys haven't seen. Next, let's talk about the random scrappy sweet shop blanket. I don't have it with me, it's downstairs. It's too big to try to show you in this situation anyway. So here's a video of all the individual squares. So you can see all of them, and then we'll just put a picture here while we talk about it. So I did finally figure out how big I want this thing to be. So here's my little chart. It's going to be 10 by 17. We have the 10, we don't have 17 yet, but we are at 66 squares and we need 170. So long way to go. We're actually in the middle of square 67 at the moment. By the way, this is the Sweet Shop Blanket by Laura Penrose, and I am using all of my fingering weight leftover scraps held double. I'm just picking a random one. Right now I'm rolling a die to pick a random one, and then when I finish it, I toss it in the used bin and we do it again. So that's where that's at. Next we have my Simple Thing by Melina Brell. Last you guys saw this, I was going to unravel and restart because I wanted a slower decrease rate and wanted a pointier end. Well, I did that. And here's how far we are now. I took this to the doctor with me earlier this week and to school pickup earlier this week. So it got a decent amount of work done on it. I have no concept of how much we have left here until the halfway point, but this yarn is from Lavender Loon Yarn Company and it is the colorway Rosy Owl. So, very cute. Okay, final whip. This one is new and it has one of my acquisitions in it. I acquired this skein of Electric Sheep from Fiona K Knits. And I am alternating it with this skein of Demon Hunter from Fiona K Knits to knit a Ripple Cami by Jessie Maed. It is pooling the absolute coolest. It's very galaxy, very, very cool. I started this because I wanted a tank to wear to keep me warm to an upcoming full day tattoo session where I know I'm going to be cold. And I don't have any wool tanks that like I can just pull the shoulder down because it's a shoulder piece. So like I have several Palm Springs tanks, although they're all cotton wool blends. So yeah, I needed a tank to keep me warm. I know this looks like it's child size, but it's ribbing, so very stretchy. I did cast on and start knitting this before actually looking at the pattern and seeing that it was supposed to be 3x3 rib, and I'm doing 2x2 rib because I didn't pay attention. I've knit one of these before, but it's in bamboo, so that's not going to keep me warm. So pretty. So I have about a month to finish this now. My appointment's on the 12th of February, so. However, I just last night got a new sample project from Purl Soho that is due on February 18th. The yarn won't be here until Monday, but it is absolutely massive. So all of these things are going to be put on hold. I have no idea what you'll be able to see next week, if anything, because it's not a lot of time to knit the things. There's 3 of them that they want me to knit. So that's all the whips. Let's talk about the rest of acquisitions. I got 3 skeins from the D-Stash Discord. These 2 are going to be for my blur cardigan in blues, just to make the fade better. These are both from the Frosted Stitch. It's the Snowflake Sock Base. This color is called Goosebumps, and this is called Jazz Cup. And this looks and feels like exactly the same base, but doesn't have a tag. So I don't know if it's also the Frosted Stitch Snowflake Sock or not. But it looks really similar, but the tag yarn is not the same. Like this is like an elastic tag yarn, and this is just yarn. So I don't know what this is, but the seller for this was doing 1 skein for 20 or 3 for 45, and they had like 20 different skeins. So obviously I needed the 3 for 45 because it was stupid to pay. I only needed these 2, but it was stupid to pay 40 for 2 instead of getting also a cool hot pink that I don't know what I'll do with, but it's not that light. It's coming across lighter on the viewfinder here. It's not bubblegum, it's hot pink. But yeah. So I got these 3. That's the acquisitions. Now we can chat about books. So like I said, I'm no longer on Goodreads, I'm only on Fable. I had like 1 person say they'd be interested in a book club. If you would also be interested in a book club on Fable, please let me know in the comments. And what kind of genres you'd be interested in. Because that's part of the questions that you have to fill out when you start a book club on Fable. I looked at it a little bit. You can pick like 3. I mean, for my choices, I would probably pick like fantasy, romance. I mean, I'd probably pick horror, but that's pretty... You're either a horror person or you're not. So, but I'm really specific about the horror that I read. So, I don't know. Anyway, books. I finished the year 2025 with 179 books. Some of these will be part of that. Let's see. 3 of the 6 books that I've read since we last talked were finished in 2025. So let's talk about what I've read. I finished The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schreffer, 4 stars. Brett and I finished The Gate of the Feral Gods by Matt Dinniman, 5 stars. And I finished Bull Moon Rising by Ruby Dixon, 5 stars. That finishes out 2025. Then, since 2026 began, I have read Hot for Slayer by Allie Hazelwood. It was a short story, but it was still very disappointing. 3 stars, my least favorite Allie Hazelwood. I read Wayward by Amelia Hart. This was an absolutely stunning book, but also really hard to read. It was really painful, but it was gorgeous. 5 stars. And I finished the Halcyon Fairy book by T. Kingfisher, 4.5 stars. And then what am I currently reading? Brett and I are reading The Butcher's Masquerade by Matt Dinniman. I am reading Never Whistle at Night, which is a indigenous, they're calling it dark fiction anthology. It's just a bunch of short stories by a bunch of different indigenous authors. And I am reading Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. Okay, the orthodontist called me again. Okay, anyway, I don't remember what I was saying now. I think I had just finished talking about books, and I think that's everything. I'm sure I'm forgetting something because I got interrupted twice, and yeah, I don't know, man. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like, comment, subscribe if you have not already. I'll see you back here another time. Love you, bye.